There are two types of people in this world. Those who want a quiet companion who observes from a distance, moves independently, and offers affection on its own terms, and those who want a presence that meets them at the door, senses their mood before they speak, and chooses them again every single day with visible loyalty. Welcome to the complex, often misunderstood, and scientifically fascinating psychology of dog people. For decades, pop culture has reduced dog lovers to caricatures: the overly emotional extrovert, the needy companion seeker, the person who needs constant validation from an animal. But those images were never about dogs. They were about misunderstanding emotional regulation that happens through connection rather than distance. Because science tells a very different story. Your preference for dogs isn't random, it isn't a quirk, and it certainly isn't about dependency. It's a signal, a biological and psychological fingerprint that reveals how you process emotion, how you regulate stress, how you experience attachment, and how your nervous system seeks safety. Dog people aren't drawn to control, they're drawn to connection. They don't want emotional distance, they want emotional synchrony. They don't need admiration, they need attunement. Today, we're not here to admire cute puppies. We're here to decode what your love for dogs quietly reveals about you. We'll break down the personality traits that separate dog people from cat people. We'll explore the evolutionary reason dogs feel emotionally readable in a way no other species does. And yes, we'll confront the idea that your bond with dogs may be rooted deeper in your nervous system than in conscious choice. So the question isn't whether you love dogs. The question is why. This is the psychology of dog people. Pop culture has always celebrated people who express emotion loudly, openly, and consistently. So dog people were rarely mocked, but they were oversimplified. The overly friendly, emotionally obvious, always available personality. The idea that loving dogs means you need constant interaction or reassurance. But this stereotype misses the truth. Dog people don't seek noise. They seek emotional feedback. They want connection that is clear, responsive, and emotionally legible. Modern life is unpredictable. Human relationships are filled with mixed signals, delayed responses, and emotional ambiguity. Dogs remove that ambiguity. Their signals are honest. Their reactions are immediate. Their attachment is visible. For many dog people, this isn't immaturity, it's relief. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They recognize safety and responsiveness. Psychology tells us something important here. Emotional clarity is not weakness, it's regulation. Many dog people are deeply sensitive to emotional shifts. They notice tone changes, energy drops, stress cues, even when others ignore them. They don't want to guess where they stand, they want to feel it. Dogs provide that. They mirror emotional states without manipulation. When you're anxious, they lean in. When you're calm, they settle. This responsiveness creates a feedback loop that stabilizes the nervous system. Pop culture framed this as neediness. In reality, it's attunement. Dog people aren't demanding connection. They're responding to it. And when you stop equating emotional clarity with emotional weakness, the stereotype collapses. What looks like dependence from the outside is often emotional intelligence in action. Psychologists often describe personality through 5 core traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The big 5. When researchers compare people who identify as dog lovers with those who prefer cats, consistent patterns appear. Dog people tend to score higher in extroversion and agreeableness. On paper, that means sociability and warmth. But lived from the inside, it means something deeper. Dog people regulate emotion through connection. Interaction doesn't drain them, it stabilizes them. They feel safest when emotional states are shared rather than processed alone. They're often more comfortable expressing feelings outwardly instead of containing them. Research also shows dog people tend to score lower in neuroticism. This doesn't mean they feel less. It means their nervous systems recover faster after stress. Emotional feedback helps them recalibrate. A dog's presence accelerates this recovery. Touch, eye contact, and physical closeness trigger oxytocin release, lowering stress and restoring emotional balance. For dog people, calm is achieved through engagement, not withdrawal. Silence without connection can feel unsettling, but shared presence, even without words, feels grounding. Dogs fit this psychology perfectly. They initiate contact, they maintain proximity, they synchronize emotionally. For someone whose nervous system regulates through interaction, That presence feels stabilizing. So when dog people say they just prefer dogs, what they're really expressing is alignment between their internal regulation system and a companion that meets it naturally. At a certain point, personality stops being the most useful explanation. Because what truly separates dog people from cat people isn't preference, it's nervous system orientation. Many dog people have nervous systems that calm through co-regulation. They settle when they're not alone with their emotions. They feel safest when emotional states are shared and mirrored. Dogs are masters of this. They read human cues with extraordinary accuracy. Changes in posture, breathing, tone, and energy don't go unnoticed. A dog adjusts instantly. This creates a loop of mutual regulation. You calm the dog calms you. For people who spend much of their lives managing others, leading, protecting, or providing emotional stability, this loop is essential. It's not about being needed, it's about being met. Dogs don't require you to hide stress. They respond to it. They don't wait for you to explain how you feel. They already know. This responsiveness reduces emotional isolation. When someone says, "I love dogs because they get me," they're not romanticizing. They're describing nervous system resonance. Dogs create environments where emotional expression doesn't feel risky, where regulation happens through presence instead of suppression. Once you see this through the lens of the nervous system, dog love stops looking simplistic. It becomes adaptive. There's also an evolutionary layer. Dogs didn't just evolve alongside humans, they evolved with us. Over thousands of years, dogs learned to read human faces, track eye movement, and respond to emotional cues better than any other species. When a dog looks at you, your brain registers social understanding. Oxytocin releases in both of you. This isn't metaphorical, it's measurable. Eye contact between humans and dogs activates the same bonding pathways as between human caregivers and infants. This makes dogs feel emotionally familiar in a way that bypasses logic. For many dog people, this creates a deep sense of belonging. Not ownership, not dominance, but mutual recognition. The dog sees you, and your nervous system responds as if it's been acknowledged at a primal level. This is why dogs feel like family so quickly, not because they're dependent, but because they're neurologically compatible. The bond forms before conscious choice. Regulation comes first. Attachment follows. Sound plays a role too. The steady breathing, the soft movement, the rhythmic presence of a dog lying nearby creates a sensory environment that signals safety. Unlike silence, which can feel empty, or noise, which can overwhelm, this presence sits in balance. Many dog people describe feeling calmer just knowing their dog is nearby. That's not imagination, it's co-regulation. The nervous system relaxes when it knows it's not alone. For people who process emotions externally, this shared regulation is essential. And once the body learns that a certain presence consistently brings it back into balance, attachment becomes inevitable. Dog people also experience attachment differently. Human relationships are complex, filled with ambiguity, delayed responses, and emotional uncertainty. Dogs reduce that complexity. Their affection is direct. Their loyalty is visible. Their boundaries are clear. For people who value emotional transparency, this feels safe. Dogs don't test emotional security. They offer it. They don't withhold affection to gain control. They give it freely. This creates a relationship where trust builds quickly and stays stable. For people who find emotional guessing games exhausting, dogs are a refuge. Not from intimacy, but from confusion. Loving a dog doesn't mean avoiding human connection. It means experiencing a form of attachment that feels emotionally clean. Dog people are often described as warm, loyal, and emotionally expressive. But the deeper truth is this: they are people whose nervous systems heal through connection. They don't need distance to feel safe. They need presence. Dogs provide that without judgment, without complexity, without emotional risk. So maybe this was never really about dogs. Maybe it was about how your system recovers. If you're drawn to dogs, it doesn't mean you're needy or simple. It means you regulate through connection, through shared emotion, through being seen. Dogs don't ask you to perform. They meet you where you are. And for some people, that kind of emotional clarity is what finally makes the world feel manageable. If this resonated, if it described something you've always felt but never articulated, you're not alone. This channel exists for people who want to understand their inner wiring, not judge it. If you'd like to explore more, consider subscribing, and tell us in the comments, what do dogs give you that the world often doesn't? Thank you for watching.